Hey, and welcome back to the Emlyn in the Mix podcast, season 3, episode 23. Still a bit of NAMM hype, NAMM season. I know NAMM's been and gone, but there is so much we need to catch up on in terms of what got released at NAMM, because there was actually so many products, and I'm still, even in this podcast, not going to be able to cover everything, but I'm still going to try and catch you up on as much exciting, crazy exciting news that's happened in the last couple of weeks even. And we even had Super Booth only like a month ago now, and there's just a plethora of new hardware and gear to talk about. Now, what is this podcast about? Music gear, music tech, all of that jazz. If you love music gear, you love working in the studio, you love creating music, then you're going to love this podcast. Even if you don't like those things, you probably love this podcast. It's pretty interesting, actually, with all the amount of cool music technology that is out there. And for my regular listeners, thank you so much for coming back week to week and joining me. You know the goods. You know what's on this podcast. If you want to support the channel, you can. You can support the podcast and the channel, because we're simulcast on YouTube and the podcast, by shouting me a coffee. The link is in the description below. Your proceeds will go towards keeping this podcast going and allowing others to discover this podcast. Also, if you leave a like on the YouTube channel, that also helps the YouTube algorithm gods to get this video out into more people's eyes so that they can also be helped by you, of course, because you click the like button and discover this amazing podcast and YouTube video. I don't even know what it is anymore. It's a YouTube video and it's a podcast. It's a simulcast. Okay, let's just leave it at that. But without further ado, I think we're just going to get stuck into today's podcast, because I've got a lot to get through. So 2 parts of this podcast is that there's a lot of specials going on in the music software world at the moment. Either it's due to 2 factors, which I believe is because of NAMM. We had NAMM last week, and there's a lot of hype around music and music technology and that sort of thing. But also, it is summer in the Northern Hemisphere. Obviously not summer here in Melbourne, Australia, because I'm wearing my big puffy jacket. It is freaking cold. But you get all the summer sales. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You could be in Antarctica right now, and you're going to experience these amazing summer deals. And I want to just we're going to quickly go through them, quite a few here, but I'm just going to go through them and show you what you're actually getting, some amazing deals. And there is an affiliate link for Native Instruments, which I'm going to show you as well, which is a deal we've spoken about before, but you need to jump on this deal because it's incredible. Anyway, let's start with our first one here. It comes to us from Audifield. I don't know, I always seem to almost screw that name up, but they do some incredible plugins, and at the moment they've got a 2-for-2 deal. Buy 2 plugins, get 2 more for free. And if we jump down here, one of my favorite plugins of theirs is that Mix Checker Pro, this one here on the left. Absolutely amazing reference plugin. If you want to know how your music sounds on a plethora of different mediums, like inside your car or on a little boombox, it does it so good. The emulation is so good. They also have the Mix Checker, which is sort of a cut down version, but the Mix Checker Pro has, like, you can add ambience. Like, you can have it so it's like your AirPods and you're sitting on the back of a bus. Like, that is how freaking detailed you can get it. Anyway, they have a bunch of other amazing plugins here. But the 2-for-2 deal is incredible. You literally just buy 2 plugins and you get 2 for free, and it's worth a mention. If you've been eyeing off Audifield, go out, do yourself a favor, check it out. Let's jump along to the next special because there's quite a few to get through. Next one is from Ableton Live. They have 25% off all their expansion packs. One of my favorite was, and we spoke about this in a previous podcast, is Chiral. Chiral is an MPE-enabled holographic synthesizer built to encourage experimentation through phase shaping, amplitude modulation, and a vast modulation matrix. Craft anything from cinematic pads to inharmonic glitchscapes using the Intuitive Max for Live devices with 4 ranging sounds design capabilities. And these are all 25% off at the moment. Yes, indeed. Let's have a quick listen back to Chiral. Here we go. Go. Listen to that MPE going on there. The fifth dimension, absolutely atmospheric sounding. That's a really cool sounding expansion pack. That's just one of 204 packs that are available, all at 25% off, and that goes through. You've only got a few days, of course. If you're listening to this podcast in like a week's time from now, then I do apologize because some of these specials will actually be finished. This one ends on June the 14th, 2022. Let's move along to our next special here as we get through the specials real quick. So we got the Summer of Sound from Native Instruments. This is an incredible deal if you've been eyeing off any of the Native Instruments and expansion packs, because they're all, I think they're up to 50% off, or they're just 50% off. Actually, it's 50% off, which is insane. This deal goes a little bit longer. There's actually 20 days left on this deal, and I just think this is a crazy deal, like half price upgrades and updates, plus huge savings on integrated hardware. So you've even got savings on hardwares. Now, I'm going to have an affiliate link for this down below. If you want to go check that out for yourself, please click on the link and check it out, because this is one of the best deals we've seen from Native Instruments in a long time. You know, you've got Guitar Rig 6, you've got Action Strings 2, Light Trilogy, you've even got Massive X on here. Let's have a quick listen to Massive X, because you know this is the stuff right here. Check this synth out. What? All one synthesizer, of course. That's crazy. Great demo. What is going on? Whoa. That is one hefty demo coming to us from, that was all Massive X playing there. How big does that sound? It really lives up to its name, Massive. And yeah, it's a Summer of Sound 2022. Click the link below if you like that, you want to get some Native Instruments gear. It is incredibly priced at the moment. The other quick deal here that I wanted to mention is the Soundwide intro bundle, which we spoke about a few podcasts ago now. And this one is just bonkers, I have to tell you. I've only got the Aussie dollar here, but I'm sure USD it's obviously going to be less, but basically they got 15 music creation tools from Brainworks, Isotope, and Native Instruments to create the perfect starter toolkit for producers and composers. Even if you're not a beginner or starting out in terms of being a producer or a composer, you should still check this out, because you get some incredible instruments in this deal. Now, the whole lot is 79 Australian dollars, which I dare say is probably about 50 USD. However, if you jump on this, you've only got 5 days to go. So if you listen to this podcast in, now you're listening to it on the day this podcast drops, you still got 5 days, which is fantastic. Some of the hardware emulations and effects that are included, you got the BX Digital V3, BX Console. BX make some of the freaking best sounding emulations around. The Subsynth, that's just bonkers. You got BX Delay, BX Stereo Maker. You got a bunch of intelligent plugins from Isotope, including RX Elements, Ozone Elements, Neutron Elements, Nectar Elements, Vocal Synth 2, Trash 2, Nimbus, and R4. It's crazy, dudes. And you get the original Massive, and you get Guitar Rig 6 LE. So incredible if you want to have effects or you want to plug in your guitar and have some guitar emulation, amp emulation effects. You're going to get it in the Soundwide intro bundle. 15 tools for that price. I don't even know where to start. No affiliate link for that. I'll try and have a link for you below though. The other quick special I want to mention here, and there's heaps of specials, by the way. This is I've only selected a few. I could be literally doing a podcast for hours on the amount of specials that are on out at the moment. So definitely check out your favorite plugin websites for those. But this one was, we don't mention these guys much on the podcast because we just don't. we don't get time, but these guys have got an incredible deal, which was worthy of a mention on the podcast. And they've got up to, I think it's save 81%, which is, I've never seen anything like this. Now, hopefully this is not some, marketing smoke and mirrors here. But when we have a look, Sonnox, I don't know, they rarely go on special. Maybe they go on special on a Black Friday deals or Cyber Monday deals, but this is bonkers. If you like any of Sonnox plugins, which Sonnox makes some incredible sounding plugins as well, emulation wise, they're in the top 10 for sure. And look at these deals. I mean, they crossed out, $300 down to $147.50. You just got to go over and check it out. Up to 81% off on Sonnox website at the moment. I just thought that was bonkers. I had to mention it here. All right, let's move along to new products that we might have missed, or that we did miss, released around the time of NAMM or released at NAMM, because it's like the remnants, the aftermath of NAMM 2022 is still happening. Like literally, I'm finding and discovering new stuff every day because of NAMM. And because we couldn't cover it all in last week's podcast. This is nuts. This one's pretty cool. So this dropped by Antares. Yes, they make Auto-Tune. Yes, they just have so many plugins now. Like Auto-Tune, Antares. Obviously, Auto-Tune kickstarted their massive career, but Antares actually makes some really creative plugins. I thought this was really cool. It's an EQ. Okay, yeah, boring, whatever. But this is a different EQ to any EQ I've ever seen, because you can actually get right in and using like their pitch correction technology and find the frequencies that you want to get rid of by, I think you can just press your keys on your keyboard or your MIDI controller, and actually then you can mix via the actual key, which is crazy to me. This sounds really cool, this kind of technology. Let's have a quick view here. There's a nice little video which talks about it. Here we go.
Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. Equalize your vocal tracks with the power of Auto-Tune pitch technology. Isolate and accentuate precise frequencies while suppressing interference and resonance to carve out the right spaces in your mix. Watch a vocalist pitch move across thresholds for real-time analysis. Lock the EQ band to a vocalist pitch to focus on fundamentals. Automatically determine input type and set the vocal range for a quick start to EQing. Find the perfect mix with Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. Clarity above all. Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. Only available in Auto-Tune Unlimited.
Okay, it's part of their Auto-Tune Unlimited subscriber deal thingy, but wow, does that seem cool or what? I mean, yeah, it is an EQ plugin, but the fact you can get in there with your MIDI controller, actually find the key or the frequency that might be annoying your mix and just be able to carve it out is freaking really cool. I think that's actually a pretty cool technology. Check that out if you're interested at the AntaresTech.com website. Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. If you're in the market for a new EQ, who isn't? We've all got EQs, let's be real, but I think this is a nice addition to their ever-expanding subscription service. I'm getting tempted. Some of these services, I know there's been a bit of backlash on the subscriber service thingies, but as I said in, I think, last week's podcast, it's not going away, and I just think this is becoming a sexier bundle to me, like this Auto-Tune thing with, the Antares bundle. Anyway, let's move along. A brand new product also dropped from our friends at Augmented Orchestra is the actual product, but UVI, who are the kings of sampling instruments. One of the kings. Augmented Orchestra is their new product, and this looks freaking amazing. Let me just play a little video back here if you're watching us on YouTube, and you can see just the amount of work UVI goes to creating this sample instrument. Check this out. Wow, so they've basically, it looks like they've hired a freaking orchestra and then they've popped a bunch of UVI t-shirts and masks on them and literally recorded this instrument. So your own hybrid orchestra. UVI Augmented Orchestra pushes deep into the creative world of hybrid instrument design, carving out new realms of twisted symphonic techniques and trotting with breathtaking soundscapes, with an exclusive library of new material showcasing over 400 expertly played and immaculately designed instrument layers and hundreds of professionally handcrafted presets to explore. Augmented Orchestra is an expansive sonic playground ready to inspire with unique and imaginative sounds. And you got a multi-part architecture. UVI Augmented Orchestra allows you to create incredible sonic motifs with a versatile multi-part architecture, letting you weave between 4 deeply customizable instrument layers. Utilize rich modulation, innovative arpeggiators, and powerful effects to create dynamic and moving sequences, pads, chords, melodies, and more. From rich morphing sound beds to classic orchestral duties and everywhere in between, Augmented Orchestra is a powerful, inspirational, and easy to master library for musicians of any background. And instrument-wise, deep chromatic multi-sampling of world-class orchestra. The story of UVI Augmented Orchestra begins in the recording hall, accompanied by over 100 musicians. If you're watching there on the video, you saw that, with the deep chromatic multi-sampling of complete symphony orchestra recorded with both conventional and unconventional approaches, adding a number of orchestrated chords and effects in the library. And we have a look here. We've got strings low, we've got strings high, we've got strings ensemble, brass low, brass high, brass ensemble, winds low, winds high, winds ensemble, and orchestral effects and orchestral chords, both arranged with 44 strings, 12 brass, and BX winds. Sounds incredibly designed. And then you got tape orchestra. These are some of the models you got modeled. String machines, string stacks, process, synth textures, FM exploration, waveforms. The list goes on. If you need a new orchestra instrument, you're creating, maybe you're writing some music for a new hit on Netflix. I mean, does Netflix even make hits anymore? Boom. No, just kidding. Netflix stock's gone down, guys. What are you looking at me like that for now? Maybe there's a new hit coming to Netflix. I'm sorry, I'm not a hater of Netflix. It's just that lately it hasn't been the best, right? But this looks like a really cool instrument. Maybe you're making the next hit TV series. You don't even have to be doing that. Maybe you're making music like the incredible, I can't even think of that band. Damn, I wish I hadn't have said that, but you get the idea. If you need strings, you covered here. I mean, you can make any style of music with strings, let's be real. And UVI have you covered with augmented strings. Let's move along to our next piece of news. This one goes out to our Google phone users. That's right. Not Apple, not iOS, not even Android. We're ignoring all of y'all. This only goes out to the Google people. Everyone else misses out. Teenage Engineering teams with Google on the free Pocket Operator for Pixel app. That's right. The notorious Teenage Engineering, notorious in the world of beautiful, desirable products that no one can afford. Many people can actually afford it. I know there's a lot of complaining on their prices recently, especially that was the hottest, most controversial topics with the release of the new OP1 and that little TX6 mixer. They look Actually, I disagree with the pricing on the TX6 because I think there's nothing like that in the world. I've said this many times. That TX6 mixer thing, a tiny card, like the size of a deck of cards mixer that has like freaking more, can do more than most expensive large console mixers. I think it's worth the price. All right, I'm gonna have some controversy on there. You can put it in the comment section down below. Say, Emlyn, you're wrong, Emlyn. Do it, because I think that is actually worth the price. Anyway, controversies aside, Teenage Engineering, they're not notorious. I'm just joking. They're an amazing, innovative company. Has a surprising new collaboration with Google. And it's sure to excite music makers with the Pixel. That's what I was trying to think. It's a Google Pixel. Is that what it's called? That phone? Anyway, Pocket Operator for Pixel is a free app that turns smartphones into a mobile groovebox. And named after T's Pocket Operator lineup of pocketable instruments, the app lets users create, export, and share weird and wonderful music and video cut-ups. That sounds pretty cool. With what seems to be a focus on field recording, the app takes advantage of the Pixel's video camera for sampling and Google's TensorFlow machine learning to help analyze and categorize samples. Wow, this sounds freaking cool. It also has 4 tracks and 16 patterns, an onboard mixer and sequencing talents for you to layer sounds and write songs with, as well as 16 effects which you can apply onto audiovisual samples. And being a TE release, these features come wrapped up in a delightfully artistic user interface that's just a pleasure to look at. Check out Pocket Operator for Pixel in the trailer below. We'll play this back. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can check. It's only 30 seconds here for the podcast's listeners. Check this out. Here we go. Can we blow it up? No, we can't. There you go. Yeah, just a nice little typical teenage engineering trailer. Leaves you a mystery. I'm sorry, iPhone users and Android users. No, you don't get this. You do not get this. So there you go. I do cater to everyone, not just iPhone. All right, this next thing. All right, this was an audio interface release from Audient, and there's some reviews out on this already. Just quickly, we'll go over this. So the best just got better with the ID44. Their most powerful audio interface just got better. The latest generation of ID44 sees improved audio performance, additional must-have features, and a beautiful new smoke grey finish. The addition of audio loopback and a dual headphone output combined with 4 Audient console mic preamps, class-leading converters, ADAT, expandability, and balanced inserts means ID44 delivers the audio performance of an Audient console straight to your desktop. So this little beauty here, released for NAMM 2022, 4 Audient console mic preamps. You got class-leading converters, 2 JFET instrument inputs, independent headphone plus stereo outputs, fully balanced inserts, and 2 bi-digital inputs and outputs. And Music Tech giving it a 9 out of 10. The professional sound you deserve. Every audio interface features the Audient console mic preamp, the same discrete circuit design found in our renowned recording console, the ASP8024-HE, designed to deliver ultra-low noise and low distortion with a touch of classic analog warmth. ID44's 4 Audient console mic preamp will give you the professional sound you deserve. So it looks nice, little desktop fitted audio interface there. If you like Audient, you're in the market for a new audio interface, this could be the way to go. Very nicely laid out. I like it. It's got the roll off here. You got some pads, you got your 48 volt, you got your gain per input here. It's actually a pretty nicely laid out. You got your master output here. You got dim, cut, you got a meter level as well. That's a freaking good looking audio interface, I must admit. But how does it sound, right? I know that Audient makes some pretty good preamps, and it's a nice NAMM 2022 drop that we missed in last week's episode, so I just wanted to mention it here. Another one that really, wow, this comes to us from musictech.com, by the way, as well as that Teenage Engineering. Sorry if I didn't mention that. Shout outs to musictech.com. But this, my goodness, this blew me away. I was like, what is going on here? Check this out. So Melbourne Instruments, holla at your boy, Melbourne Instrument. I'm from Melbourne, of course. It's not me though. This is Melbourne Instruments. Never heard of them before. Brand new company hailing out of Melbourne, Australia. Have just released, this thing looks mind-bogglingly good. Nina. They've released Nina and they introduced it at NAMM 2022. It's a 12-voice polysynth with motorized controls, and a Kickstarter campaign for the polysynth will launch soon, but you can see it in NAMM first. So check this out. NAMM 2022, Melbourne Instruments has previewed a novel synth concept. So it's an analog polysynth with, this is the clincher, and this is what makes this thing unbelievable. It's got motorized controls, so you can automate parameters with the feel of physical knobs. So basically, when you this is my understanding of it, when you recall a preset, those little knobs, all the little knobs, which is heaps on there, I don't even know how many, it's like 20 or 30, they're motorized, so they move to get the preset back that you might have saved, right? So the 12-voice Nina offers a combination of analog and digital synthesis with analog oscillators, a powerful mod matrix set, sampling talents, and onboard effects. It approaches wave morphing with variable shape triangle oscillators with sweep from triangle to sawtooth shapes in order to discover new timbres. There's also a 4-pole transistor ladder VCF and modulatable resonance, voice level, filter overdrive, and digital wavetable oscillators. Let's have a quick, I want to show you this video back. If we got it down here somewhere, you got to have a listen. This thing sounds freaking out of this world. I don't know where our video might have disappeared. Let me just quickly refresh. You got to have a listen to this. This honestly sounds so good. Here it is. Let's play it back. Listen to this. You can see the knobs twirling on their own. Motorized recall and automation. I mean, if that isn't an amazing, exciting concept, I don't know what is. Like that actually got me really excited when I saw that you can recall with the motorized preset, and it sounds amazing. And it's polysynth, digital and analog, sounds really good. Evidently, Nina's most defining feature is its motorized controls, which could make it a powerful tool, especially for live performances. And this in tandem with recallable, automatable controls, patch morphing, and that powerful mob matrix mean the sonic possibilities stretch way beyond simply recording filter sweeps. They could well be quite endless, really. Melbourne Instruments says Nina's encoders are long-lasting and offer the precise feel of analog pots. This could be especially exciting if Nina could function itself as a controller for other instruments, but this is simply speculation. Aside from all that, sound generation offers multi-timbre layered split and overlap options along with a host of effects to finish your sound. Oh, and it also runs on open source software powered by Raspberry Pi 4. Check it out. I mean, that is phenomenal. And I got a shout out to these guys. I mean, they're just around the corner from me, making this incredible Kickstarter. Keep your eyes on Kickstarter if you're interested in this. I think that's going to be, I don't know, that's just, that looks amazing, that synth. I hope that comes to fruition. All right, and this was pretty cool. This is another thing that dropped at NAMM 2022. Again, come to us from our friends at musictech.com. Thank you so much, Music Tech, for all of these incredible stories here. If you don't know what Auratone speakers are, then you might have been, or you don't, you've been living under a rock, of course, because these are in pretty much every major studio around the world. They're a reference monitor, basically. You listen to these, kind of like the Yamaha DC-10s. You listen to these to see how your mix is going to translate across, you know, crappier speakers or whatever. Anyway, NAMM 2022, Nashville-based Auratone, which I haven't heard from them for a long time, whether they had any new products. I didn't even think this company actually existed anymore. They've announced their new, and this is active 5C Super Sound Cubes, making their 50th anniversary of the famous design, which was originally a passive speaker. That's right. And according to the manufacturers, the Auratone Active 5C Super Sound Cube is identical to the former passive model, which was a 2016 inductee into the NAMM Technology Hall of Fame. What? Apart from the new integration of a built-in amplifier, the new model was developed by Polish manufacturer Betamaker, who also built on the circuitry seen in the previous model of the dual-channel Auratone A230 amp, which puts out 50 watts of power. And in a statement to their website, Auratone has said, there was always something about Auratone speakers that made them easy to listen to, mix on, and made them translate to just about any small radio or TV speaker on the planet. And when they ceased manufacturing, a hole was left in the market that some have tried, but none have been able to fill. And today, Jack Wilson's grandson has decided to take up the Auratone banner again, finding modern manufacturing techniques and new sources to have just what was needed to create the classic sound again. Thank goodness for that grandson, right? He's out there. He's keeping that flag flying for Auratone. The Sound Cube offers a 1/4-inch XLR combo input on the back. The active monitor also uses an external DC power supply, which offers protection against overcurrent, overheating, and shortcuts. And apart from that, everything else remains the same as the original model, with the 4.5-inch full range of driver and the same frequency response covering 80 Hz to 15 Hz. It's the Hall of Fame for a reason. It's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. So the Auratone Active 5C Super Sound Cube Studio. God, that is a mouthful. Come on, guys. Let's shorten this freaking speaker name. Let me try that again. The Auratone Active 5C Super Sound Cube Studio Monitor will be sold as a pair for $749 US. That is exciting. If you needed some cute little, really good sounding reference monitors, and again, they're a technology hall of famer, this is the one to go for. All right, let's jump over to our last piece of news that also got announced at NAMM 2022. Comes to our friends from Artiphon. Who are Artiphon? Well, they actually did, their instrument started on Kickstarter. I've actually got the original one here. If you're looking at us on YouTube there, that's the first version. So this was a Kickstarter that actually came into fruition. The product came. It's an incredible little instrument. It's called the Orba. And this is the Orba 2 now that they've released. Hold out your hand and meet Orba 2. Play any sound in the world, create your own instruments, and make songs in seconds. Let me play this little video back here, this little teaser of what it can do. Okay, so you can make a sample kit with it, basically. I think the thing that's appealing about the Orba 2, I mean, look, let's be real, there's nothing really brand new or innovative about this product other than the fact that it's this small, sorry, I take that back. It is an innovative product, but what I mean by there's nothing really new in terms of functionality, in terms of what we can already do with software and other hardware. But what makes this unique is the fact that it's sort of like the size of half an orange. It's like if you had an orange and you cut it in half. Obviously, it doesn't look like an orange, it's black and plastic, but that size is like it cups in your hand really perfectly. And for some reason, it really does make you want to just play around with it. Like if I go, you can hear I got the drum kit. Oh, I'll go that way because that's where the speaker is. So I got a drum kit up there, and then obviously I can change the instrument. Now, one of the cool features about the Orba is that it has, and especially what we just saw in that video there with the Orba 2, it's got like an XY sort of, like what your smart device has with being able to read like whether it's tipping or turning. If you have a look, when I turn it, I get like an expressive sort of expressive effect on that, and that's what the Orba 2 obviously has. I think I can't really see what the main difference between the Orba 1 and Orba 2 is, other than it looks like you can do your own sample kits. Maybe they've updated the software or something like that. If you're an original Orba user, it'd be good to know what you're getting, or if you're getting anything actually. An update to the software would be really good, because I've actually struggled with the Orba to get my sounds from the phone onto the Orba. I actually haven't been able to do it. It's something to do with the software and the connection, that sort of thing. But look, anyway, let's look. This is what we're looking at. Orba 2. This is what drops. So play any sound in the world. Orba 2's sounds include traditional instruments as well as electronic synth sounds. Open your Orba 2 and play upright pianos, guitars, found sounds, and more. Imagine conducting an orchestra in the park. No strings attached and no screens. And march to your own beat. Each of the 4 modes, drum, bass, chord, and lead, will feature dozens of new instrument presets. Create your own instruments with Orba 2 app. See, it's a new app. There you go. You'll be able to record any sound from the real world and transform it into a playable musical instrument. That is actually pretty cool. A bicycle bell, a bird in a tree, or your roommate's amazing voice can be the start of a new song. You can also import samples you've already recorded, such as your solo from the middle school musical. And shake, rattle, and roll, tilt, radiate, and bump. So yeah, you can do, like, you can bump it. It just actually, this is the cool thing about the Orba. It actually just feels right in the hand. So you can tap, press, got vibrato, radiate, spin. So you can actually spin, you get an effect, bump it. That was one of the cool things I liked, actually. I'll just show you that, because you can do that on the Orba original. I don't know how it's going to sound on the actual podcast, but actually if I tap it, it's going to come through the microphone. But when I tap it on the desk here, I actually get like a snare, which is pretty cool. Move, shake, and tilt. So as simple as tapping with one finger, Orba 2 captures even the most subtle micro movements. Its improved ceramic-like playing surface simultaneously reacts to the 9 simple gestures: tap, press, radiate, tilt, shake, spin, vibrato, move, and bump. And loop songs in seconds, play them for hours. Orba 2 has an integrated MPE looper that allows you to record loops right on the device itself. Using drum, bass, chord, and lead modes, you'll be able to combine these sounds to create songs that are uniquely yours. Play fast and loose and always on time. Introducing Quantize. Orba 2's new Quantize feature will automatically make your performance perfectly timed to the beat, and this means you can focus on creativity and fun, and Orba will take care of the rest. Yeah, it works with that. Use Orba to control your MIDI-based software and hardware instruments. Orba works with GarageBand, Ableton Live, Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Cubase, FL Studio, and more. Orba is fully compliant with the new standard for MIDI polyphonic expression, MPE, making it capable of multiple independent Orba gestures. That is actually cool. This is new for Orba 2. The MPE is featured. Yes, that is fantastic. That's what we want. The many Orba apps. And the new Orba app is how you'll try new instruments and make your own. With Orba Cam, you can turn your Orba songs into multimedia video performances. Is this a new thing? Like, this seems like we had that with the Teenage Engineering Pixel app. You could do videos and sample it as well. That's pretty cool. All right, so they've got the original Orba here at $99 and the Orba 2 is $150. Okay, so here we can see the differences between the Orba 1, built-in synth in loopers, and Bluetooth MIDI controller, 9 playing gestures is all included Orba 1, Orba 2. But where things get new in Orba 2 is you got real audio samples, record and import your own samples, automatic quantize, and 128 bar loops up to 5 minutes, whereas with the old Orba you can only do 8 bar loops, 2 to 30 seconds. Okay, there you go. I mean, look, I take back what I said at the start. It is an innovative piece of hardware. What I meant was that there's nothing really new in terms of software wise that this thing can do, because there are an incredible plethora of apps on your iPhone or your smart device or even iPads that can pretty much do what the Orba does. But where the Orba actually stands out is this physical, tactile. It feels amazing in the hand, and the fact that it has all these little gestures, there's nothing quite like it on the planet, and that's what sets it apart. I think it's a worthy little kind of instrument. I can't really see myself writing a whole song with it, but definitely as a fiddly little piece to get some little ideas, it's quite good. I must say it's quite an interesting instrument, and I like that they went out there on a limb. They did the Kickstarter. It's obviously popular. It does have a fan base and a user base, and this is what got dropped in NAMM 2022. Anyway, we're going to have to wrap up the podcast there. I hope you enjoyed everything I covered here. Obviously, I haven't gotten to every single product that dropped for NAMM 2022, but I've tried my best over these last 2 weeks to show you what I think's been cool. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you feel I've actually missed a very important product that I should have mentioned as a part of the NAMM 2022 releases that have just happened. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about it still for another few weeks. Even in next week's podcast, there might be some products we have to revisit. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of the podcast today. What do you think of all the specials we went over? Are you going to be checking out the Summer of Sound deals by Native Instruments? That's freaking crazy. Or even the Ableton Live 25% off or Audience 2 for 2 deals. How good is that? What did you think of Augmented Strings by UVI? Teenage Engineering for the Google Pixel collaboration there. Do you think that's fair? Should it be on iPhone? Should it be on Android? Autotune's new EQ. What the heck? That thing looks amazing. And this mind-blown Melbourne Instruments Nina just coming out of nowhere, making what looks like one of the best hardware synths of 2022. If that Kickstarter comes to fruition, that is going to be freaking honestly mind-blowing. And what do you think of this Orba 2? Do you think this is something you need? Is it something you're going to get? Is it something that interests you? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Make sure to like the video to help the algorithm so you can help others. Yes, you can help others by liking the video. That's all you have to do. Or you can go the next step further with our relationship, Emlyn in the mix, and you, and shout me a coffee. Yes, shout me a coffee. It will help. It'll go a long way. And just you, if you don't want to do the shouting and cough, you don't want to like the video, just you watching the video, even if you're hating on me right now, you're like, I hate this guy, I hate this Emlyn guy, I just want to kill him. Thank you for watching the video, because even just doing that actually helps me so much. Anyway, guys, with all of that, I'm obviously being silly here at the end here, but thank you so much for joining me, guys. We're going to have to leave it there, and we're back next week. Till then, stay creative. Make some awesome beats. I hope I've inspired you somehow. Don't go out and spend too much, but that's why we mentioned specials here. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Thank you so much. Peace out. Boom.